Greetings, humans. I'm Andy, and I'm George, and welcome back to the Windmill of Horses. Okay, so this is TesseracT, War of Being, which is the lead single off of TesseracT's upcoming album, War of Being. And it was released 3 days ago, and I couldn't listen to it because I had to do this, so over the last 3 days, I have experienced inside me a war of being. I was gonna do that! Yeah, but I took it. Right, so words cannot begin to grasp how hyped I am for this. Genuinely. It's been a long time since we've gotten a song this long from it's been a long time since we've gotten a song from TesseracT, but especially one this long. 11 minutes with a video and everything. Are you ready? This time for fucking real. No. Oh! Yes! What are you doing?
The words that I whispered when it all began, did they shine a light on you? You don't understand. To dream of falling like sun twisted and stormy. Listening as you
I will actually start out by saying something quite cliche, but it's so true that I can't not say it. this is my new TesseracT song. My new favorite TesseracT song. And I mean, by far. I promise I'm trying to speak. This. Is this gonna be the album of the year? Very, 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 very likely. We had Haken. We had Neo Obliviscaris. Periphery. We had Periphery. I still didn't listen to the full Periphery album. Let's leave those aside and talk about this. Yes. Right. Where do you begin to unpack that? I'm gonna begin with what we knew, well, with what I knew beforehand, which is that in their posts promoting this, they said that the concept is kind of dealing with acceptance a lot, with a struggle to acceptance. I don't really remember much more details than that, but then the song is so tormented, like it's so intense emotionally. I feel like on the recent albums, on Polaris and on Sonder, they took a more atmospheric direction and more peaceful almost kind of vibe overall. And this is just there's so much struggle with the vocals, right? Like there's the screaming. We haven't heard any screaming in TesseracT since their debut album. Yeah. And we haven't heard patterns that are this complex and shifts that are this sudden since then either. So this is a throwback to one, in a sense. A lot of old school fans are going to be very happy about that. Yeah. But it feels even bigger than one. Yeah. Like, I think more cohesive. Yeah. I think the most epic song there must have been, Acceptance. Yeah. And Acceptance sure was a journey. Yeah. But this deals with acceptance, but the thing, not the song. Yeah. I won't stop you anymore. Acceptance was, smaller. This is just how I can put it. It felt like less. And I don't just mean less in terms of quantity. It was, most of the elements that were here were in that one as well, but they weren't to the same extent. And they weren't pieced together as coherently. Okay. And they didn't have as much nuance and as much filler binding them all together. Okay. If I'm really gonna try to spill thoughts, it's gonna be a long time. But first thing, vocals. You said there was a lot more screaming. There wasn't just a lot more screaming. There was much more varied screaming. Yes. There was one small section that really gripped me when he did lows. Yes. I've never heard Dan doing like low screams before. Same. And he had this thing of like bringing in the grit and the scream into clean singing. Yes. And having kind of this push and pull and struggle between clean singing and scream. Yeah. And then you have that overlaid with the fighters as well. Yeah. Now, the first teaser they put out on social media said something like, one being is left behind and another is born. And that's how I perceive acceptance in many ways. In order to be the person that's accepted something that's happened, you can no longer be the person who was before that. Yeah. So things like grieving, like letting go of something difficult, like understanding that you've done something wrong maybe, or understanding how you could have been tricked about something. All experiences of this sort come with a very strong rebellious response where you just do not want to take that, and you will go on every possible route to try and mend what happened before you become the character that is strong enough to overcome it. Yeah, okay. I follow along with that, and I think it feeds into the concept very well. But I was thinking similar things. I wanted to pick up on how that's represented in the video. Yeah, because you have the two beings, one which must go in order for another to rise. Yeah. And it's almost like that's overlaid on the idea that we're ephemeral and you only have so much time to deal with what you gotta deal with before you have to go. So that's the sunset, right? They're fighting into the sunset, right? Yo. And that struggle, that's like an eternal struggle you have through life. You have a limited time, and it's always some parts die and some parts are reborn, and it's a race to get to the best being you can be through that. So that's overlaid incredibly well in the video. I didn't pick up that much on the lyrics to really say how that's reflected there, but I'm definitely going back and listening to this some more. Yeah, I did not pay attention to the lyrics. One more thing about the concept and about the video. You had the fighters, yes, but you had this like white figure that was kind of voodooing one of the fighters.
No,
It only intervened once.
Yeah.
Yes. That's how I've seen it. Okay. There's this one point where one's about to die and he just pushes him away. So you could view that two ways. You could say that's like your past not letting your old self die, or some conscience preventing your future self from being sacrificed by your past.
I interpret it as conscience.
Yeah, the fighters are your two faces, your two choices of who you can be, and consciousness is the agent that struggles to make the choice between them. And until consciousness decides, those two faces are fighting. Yeah. Another and last thing about the video, it looked, in terms of style, very similar to what we saw in Earthside. All We Knew and Ever Loved. I would bet it was made by the same company or people or whatever. I wouldn't bet, but I can definitely see the similarity. Right. Prognerdery. Can I do some prognerdery? Go. Okay. We did say it throws back to 1. It throws back to Altered State as well. The atmospheric bits have a very strong Altered State feeling. Not just in the atmosphere itself, but in how they connect different heavier parts, like of matter type. Yeah. So those chaining pieces are incredibly well integrated there. They never disrupt the flow. It's never like you just have chunks, right? So that's really cool. And then Prognerdery, the lead riff was amazing. I'm surprised that you could pick up which was the lead riff. It was all a salad to me. Like the one at the beginning. The one through the beginning part. Okay. And it was kind of running. J. Postone's grooves, I want to marry them. Like, I not him, the grooves. I want the grooves embodied in a person that I want to marry. And the transitions as well. They were very loaded transitions compared to what he usually does. Like, the really elegant sort of laid back feeling that they've had over recent albums kind of took a backseat and let more chaos forward. Yeah. And then there was this one part with like guitar that was kind of tappy. Not tappy, but like pinchy. Yeah. When that part came in, I could have sworn it was gonna be playing high strings on the bass. It was guitar. Yeah, I thought what was happening there was guitar was playing what you would normally see on a Tesseract bass line. Yeah. Like they switched. The production work was also phenomenal. Like, I don't think the drums ever sounded this thunderous and deep and sharp before on a Tesseract album. And all the layers and echoes and background voices, you know, sort of those wailing chants, all of it was just tying the whole thing together. Yeah, and vocals beautifully. Vocals were so multifaceted because you had like high screams, a bit of low screams, clean singing that's powerful and belting, clean singing that's tender and sensitive. You had overlapped cleans and harshes, which also goes in tune with the concept of the struggle of two beings. And you had whispers. And then you had whispers with grit. And then you had whispers that flow into singing and all that stuff. Yeah. So it's just like circus level acrobat on the vocals. Damn. Yeah. He's an absolute genius. Yeah. And with the atmospheric parts, some of them would like cut for a while and then slap you right back over the head. Yeah. And you'd not see it coming. And others felt like they're almost deliberately guiding you. Like it would start growing and you would feel where it's heading towards and it would give you time to anticipate it. Yeah. Like it felt like some were deliberately unpredictable and some were deliberately predictable. Yeah. I think I could just go on and on and on and on and on. And I think we've probably lost everyone watching. So this is gonna get boring if we keep going. So if you enjoyed this reaction, we'd greatly appreciate the likes and shares. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe with bells on. Thank you very much for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed your stay and we'd love to see you back at the Windmill very soon. Corpse is out.